Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 6.
How was your commute home? The steady snowfall, windy conditions, and temps at the freezing mark have left road surfaces wet and slippery. It's something we all need to adjust to. Let's do a deeper dive into the driving conditions. Valley News Team's Katie Opperly joins us live. And Katie, where are you and what's it look like?
Mike, we're here off of the Interstate 94 and Interstate 29. You can see plows out hard at work trying to keep these roads clear. They're pushing around this wet, heavy, slushy snow that officials warn can be particularly dangerous because it can build up in places and create obstructions on our roadways. That's why officials want you to follow 3 helpful tips to keep you and others safe. The first tip is that they want you to slow down. It may seem simple, but it helps you stay in control of your vehicle. Number 2 is a 2-for-1. They want you to turn on your headlights so that you can be seen and other cars can react if they need to. And they want you to turn off that cruise control. That way you are in control of your vehicle and can make adjustments as need be to the conditions on these roads. And number 3, if there is a crash and there are officials responding to this scene, they want to make sure that you move over and you slow down. This keeps you, the people involved in the crash, and these emergency workers safe as we move through the evening. They have been responding to crashes in both North Dakota and Minnesota, and that's why they want you to follow these tips. We will continue to follow these conditions throughout the evening, but for now, reporting live in Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
All right, Katie, our storm team was spot on in calling this opening round of snow. Let's check in to find out how much has fallen, where, and what's expected tonight. Nathan joins us with the details. Nathan?
Yeah, Mike, this is turning out to be just about as we expected with this particular system, and of course worried about those roadways at this evening as well for those folks still planning on commuting this evening. Here's a look at those road conditions from our friends, of course, at NDDOT. A lot of blue there indicates wet roadways, but where you see some of those dashes indicates that slush that Katie Opperly was talking about, making for some slippery conditions in and around the metro. Then just south near the Wahpeton area, seeing some snowfall on the roadways, and we're seeing some of that snowfall on the roadways in the Cavalier area as well, just toward the north and east of Devils Lake, the city of Devils Lake itself. And of course, that winter weather advisory does continue through the 7 p.m. hour. So one more hour in the metro for that winter weather advisory, but that does continue until midnight for our friends in northern Minnesota. Have seen some reports, a lot of reports coming in between 1 and 3 inches, with some areas seeing upwards of 5 or more inches of total snowfall. But again, we do have some snowfall still falling at this time, with even some heavier snowfall making its way into the metro as we speak. Those temperatures are right around freezing. So some of that liquid on the roadways as we go through the night, Mike, could be turning into some icy spots, and that looks to have impacts even for tomorrow morning's commute. So this system, we'll also talk about a heavier snow system we're tracking coming up on Thursday, and we'll break that down in a couple minutes.
All right, thanks, Nathan. New tonight at 6, a couple is urging you to vote early and in person after they say they went to the polls yesterday, but were told a mail-in ballot had already been submitted. Valley News Team's Bailey Hurley talked with them and voting officials who say while it's unlikely to happen again, there are measures in place as backup.
Richard and Carol Schmidt spend most of their time in sunny Florida, mostly to get away from days like today. But the couple only went back south at the beginning of the month, which caused a lot of confusion when Richard went to vote Monday morning.
They said, well, you've already returned the ballot. On September 24th, the ballot was sent to you, and on September 29th, it was returned. And I said, well, that was pretty hard because I was in North Dakota at that particular time.
Schmidt says he was then given a provisional ballot to fill out and turn in, a problem he says he's glad he ran into now instead of on Election Day, when voting officials will likely be bombarded with several other issues.
With this contentious election that we have this year, with all the mail-ins and all the back and forth and all the, you know what I'm talking about, everything going on, I just, if it happened to me, how many other people are going to have have issues also.
Cass County officials say while a problem like Schmidt's is unlikely to happen again, if it does, that voter would also be given a provisional ballot and the issue would have to be resolved before it could be counted. And local officials also point out if you vote by mail, you're now able to track your ballot to see where it's at in the process. But for Schmidt, he says if you're able, this is the year to vote early and, most importantly, in person.
It doesn't make any difference who you're voting for. It's important.
Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Track your mail-in ballots or your absentee ballots in both North Dakota and Minnesota. You can find the link by going to the VNL News app, and once you're there, just click on this story. West Fargo Public Schools just released a rough timeline for when pre-K through 5th grade students can go back to in-person learning. Harwood and Legacy Elementary Schools could be the first two to bring students back 4 days a week. In November, students won't be in the classroom on Wednesdays. The district says both schools distributed their re-entry plans to families yesterday, pending authorization of changes from the school board during its October 26th meeting. All elementary buildings are planning for a full 5-day return by November 30th. Some Fargo business owners say that they're grateful Mayor Tim Mahoney put a citywide mask mandate in place. There's not penalties for not wearing face coverings. A person can be asked to leave a business for not wearing a mask, and if you refuse to leave, that would be against the law. If you're arrested, you could wind up paying a $500 fine. Several businesses in downtown Fargo have been dealing with the backlash to wear masks for months, but they say that they're trying to work with those that don't want to cover up.
To those individuals, we've just told them that we're available online for their orders or anything they may need, and we're happy to take orders over the phone.
West Fargo leaders, meanwhile, will be meeting at 10 tomorrow morning when they are going to discuss the possibility of having a mask mandate for West Fargo. You can find a link to that on our VNL News app. The search continues tonight for a missing teenager. 15-year-old Kendall Thompson was last seen yesterday. Police say it appears that Kendall left the Bemidji area voluntarily and may be in the Detroit Lakes area. Kendall is about 6 feet 1 inches tall, 310 pounds, has brown eyes and short brown hair, was last seen wearing a black sweatshirt with red writing on it, Nike flip-flops, and gray sweatpants. Fire has destroyed a UTV. It happened mid-afternoon yesterday north of East Grand Forks. The person driving it says the engine caught on fire. No one was hurt. Later on Valley News Live at 6, if you take just a few steps right now, it can make a big difference as you move into the depths of winter.
And here's a look at how much snowfall we got so far in Fargo, measurement of 3.3 inches there, which comes out to about a 0.41 liquid equivalent of that snowfall. The high temperature of 34 degrees was 20 degrees below average. No snowfall report yet from Grand Forks, but also seeing those highs about 20 degrees below average. We'll break down the rest of this week next.